Ask about President Biden. He is saying he's going to run again in 2024. Will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that. You know, if
He's going to run again in 2024. Will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in
2024, will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think if the president has a vision, then that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
If the president has a vision, this is the person that the dishonest folks in right-wing media want us to believe is some kind of radical. Radical left. She's a radical socialist. And she is willing to entertain any bullshit that the corporatist establishment Joe Biden might have for 2024. This is not a new guy. This guy has been in politics for, over 40 years? Seems like his entire life. Certainly been in politics my entire life, and I ain't young anymore. So we know what he's about. Right, so there's no chance whatsoever that in 2024, Joe Biden's going to magically have a vision, right? For those that thought, because of the moment, how critical the moment is, 2020, he was going to really come and restore the soul of the nation. You can see that hasn't happened, right? If in that moment, Joe Biden didn't deliver, he just did what he's always done, which is support status quo, then we know goddamn well he ain't going to do nothing for no 2024. So how could anybody but a corrupt politician say with a straight face on CNN, major news network, to the American people that you're willing to entertain any bullshit that Joe Biden has to say for 2024? Fraud.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, I think we should endorse when we get to it. But I believe that the president's been doing a very good job so far. And, should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But right now.
So I do see some level of discomfort, but I wonder where the source of the discomfort. Is the source of the discomfort the hit to her credibility of what she's saying? Or is the source of the discomfort the fact that, hell no, I don't want no Joe Biden, but I don't want to say that for political reasons, so this is an uncomfortable question. So is she more concerned about that she can't stand Joe Biden and that Joe Biden's a liar and a fraud who supports status quo, which she supposedly is against? Is that what is bothering her? Or is it because she's been a fraud to her base, pretending to be some kind of radical left when all she is a puppet of the establishment at this point? I don't know. You tell me. You comment below and let me know which one do you think. Why does she seem so uncomfortable to simply say, yeah, I'd support Joe Biden in 2024? And further, he's doing a very good job. And any conservatives that are listening, and you've been listening to these liars in right-wing media talk about how the radical left is controlling Joe Biden. Who could be more radical than AOC? And she is saying Joe Biden's doing a great job. Does that sound like somebody who's controlling Joe Biden saying he's doing a great job, even though he's been basically ignoring them the entire time? Minimum wage, nothing. Healthcare, nothing. Student loan forgiveness, nothing. What has Joe Biden done? He's funded the police. He's put kids in cages. He has, spiked up Medicare for the benefit of his donors. He's sat on his ass doing nothing for far too long. And this is what she calls a very good job. Not a good job, not an okay job. Not a, he's doing the best that he can with what he has. Or no, he's done a very good job is what she said. She is endorsing Joe Biden. Remember, these are the same people that said, we got to get Joe Biden in to get Trump out, and then we're going to move him left. He gets elected. Nobody moves him left. Even the part of independent left-wing media that loves to talk about fraud squad this and fraud squad that, they ain't moving Joe Biden left either. They spending more time making content talking about fraud squad. Oh, look at the fraud squad. AOC, they lying, the Democrats this, the Democrats that. What about the Republicans? Well, there's other channels that talk about that. I want to talk about the Democrats because that gets me the most clicks. I mean, let's elect him to get Trump out, then we're going to move him left. He gets elected. There's almost no pressure to push him left. He pretty much ignores the progressive, doesn't do anything that they want. Right-wing media continues to lie about how Joe Biden's being controlled by them. And now here she is saying Joe Biden's doing a great job. Who is controlling who? It seems like she is being controlled by Joe Biden and the establishment, because here she is giving them props after they gave her the middle finger for Joe Biden's entire term. Who is pulling the strings? Do we see Joe Biden saying AOC is doing a really good job? Or is the radical left AOC telling Joe Biden he's doing a really good job? How can anybody take this woman seriously? Consider the complete failure of the Biden administration and the message she's putting out on mainstream media for the normies to hear is that Joe Biden's doing a great job. They're hearing the supposed radical left person giving kudos to Joe Biden, liar, fraud, inept, clown, Joe Biden. We went from one sexual predator to another sexual predator, from one clown to another clown, from one liar to another liar, from one corrupt politician to another corrupt politician, to one well past their expiration date grandpa to another well past his expiration date grandpa. And AOC's response? He's doing a very good job. What hope does the left have when this is your leader complimenting a fraud like Joe Biden? What hope does the left have? Is there any left in this country? Seems like all the money and power and energy is on the right. Conservatives are dominating in social media. They're dominating in the polls and registrations. People are leaning right. They're leaving the Democratic Party, going over to the Republican Party. And this is the best representation that we have from the left, the fraud. And the people who spend all their days calling her out as a fraud are frauds themselves, because they ain't putting no pressure. They ain't fighting for nothing. They ain't pushing for no protest, no direct action. They ain't doing shit but making content on YouTube for clicks and views. They did their little forced to vote bullshit, and I call it bullshit based on what they did after that, right? Because if they were serious, that wouldn't have been the end of it. They would have kept hammering and hammering Joe Biden for action. But they did their little stunt, get their little clicks and followers and whatever, and then Build Back Better happens, and they knew the consequences if that fell. What did they do? What did they do? Nothing. Sat on their asses, making content about the Democrats this, the Democrats that, the fraud squad this, the fraud squad that. You guys are frauds yourselves. Blue, MAGA, red, MAGA. Two sides, same coin.
Now we need to focus on winning a majority instead of a presidential election.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Nice deflection. Do you remember a time where AOC wasn't so welcomed on mainstream media like this, a nice friendly interview? Do you remember a time where Nancy Pelosi kept attacking AOC, the establishment Democrats kept attacking AOC? Do you remember that time? Well, that was the last time that AOC was anyway actually a progressive beyond just the rhetoric. That was a time when she actually stood for something and she was actually fighting for them. But at some point in time, she got captured by the establishment, and now she's nothing more than a tool of the establishment, which is why she's welcomed on an establishment show like this, right? Anyway, this is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.